Hey guys, meteorologist Chris Tomer here with us on the Snow Before You Go forecast. What a pattern we have shaping up here. A powerful west-northwest flow potential here to really lay down some big totals. And it's really just part of an active pattern with both jet streams loading up moisture, ushering in storm systems 11:30 through about 12:08. You can see the timeline for heavy snow, the heaviest snow in Wyoming, Utah, and Colorado. Very similar, around 12:1 to 12:4. And then a second shot of moisture comes in around 12:8, 12:9, 12:10, somewhere in there. But that's where I expect a lot of the heaviest totals to be. Pacific Northwest, BC, down through central Idaho, into the Tetons, the Wasatch, and the central to northern mountains of Colorado. In fact, let me show you my spider chart, odds of best snow next 5 to 7 days. So higher on the chart, more purple, better odds of accumulating new snow. That's the central to northern mountains of Colorado. That's the Wasatch, that's the Tetons, that's central Idaho, that's the Pacific Northwest, and that's also parts of interior BC. So all those areas would be higher on the chart. All right, let me take you over to water vapor satellite imagery here and show you what the setup is. So oranges and reds, drier air aloft on this. Your moisture aloft is going to be in the whites and the blues. So we have a southern track low, minor storm, but as I've mentioned in other updates, this is undercutting this brief ridge of high pressure and helping to break it down and get this new pattern, this active pattern moving in. Big low here, a little bit of energy sliding across Hawaii. So both jets are playing a role. You can see the southern branch here helping to escort things along, and the northern branch getting ready to turn and set up a west-northwest flow pattern. So that's what we're dealing with in this update. Let me walk you through this briefly on the forecast radar and satellite. So by the time we get into Thursday morning, this is the setup. Southern track low, sliding through New Mexico and Arizona. Look in the Pacific Northwest. Next storm system hitting there. Here we go, 4 o'clock. Here's 12:1. Couple of things happening. Energy coming in on the southern branch, energy coming in on the northern branch, both of them combining. This is when we start to see things really turn. That's 12:1 in the morning. By 12:1 in the afternoon, boom. We've got moisture packets all lined up on a west-northwest flow orientation. You can see it snowing through central Idaho, the Tetons, the Wasatch, and most of Colorado's mountain zones, although I'll tell you, in the end, it's the central to northern mountains that will benefit the most and have the biggest totals. Pacific Northwest getting nailed. Very rich flow. Here we go by 12:2. Same thing happening. That flow is extremely efficient. For the way a lot of these mountain ranges oriented, this type of flow tends to maximize your lift in a lot of these places. There we are at 4:15, 12:2. Here we are by the time we get into 12:3. It's the same thing. You can see once this establishes, we get 24 hours worth of just solid flow. And by the time we get into 12:3 in the afternoon, it's still there. And into 12:4, starting to wane, and then it goes away. But there may be more activity. You can see the low up in the Pacific Northwest moving in by that 12:7, 12:8, 12:9 time frame. All right, let me take you into the jet stream orientation and show you what this looks like. So here's 11:30. That little southern track low is sliding through, getting ready to turn things into the bigger pattern. Here's the shift. Boom, look at that. That polar jet takes a hold, and we've got that orientation. Not only a jet stream level out of the west-northwest, but also all the way down to 10,000 feet, which is a lot of the time the key level that we'll look at. So it's all stacked. And here's the final. This is 12:8. You can see the next short wave coming in to the Pacific Northwest. That would then slide down through the Intermountain West, 12:7, 8, 9, and 10. As far as totals go, 11:30 through 12:4, big numbers here. We're talking feet. And Tetons, 2 feet. 1 to 3 feet for the Wasatch, with the biggest numbers in Little Cottonwood. Probably get about 2 feet in Big Cottonwood, and about a foot and a half for Park City, Deer Valley. In Colorado, central and northern mountains, that's where the big flow piles up, and we're looking at probably 1 to 2 feet for Steamboat, Snowmass, Aspen to Vail and Crested Butte. Probably about a foot for Summit County, Loveland, A Basin, up towards Eldora, potentially approaching that 1 to 2 foot mark for Cameron Pass. Pacific Northwest, look at that, 1 to 3 feet, maybe 4 feet for Mount Bachelor. Big stuff. Central Idaho, Brundage gets the most accumulation with that type of setup. All right, here I'm going to take you into a product I start to pull out once the totals start looking good with these storms in the heart of winter. This is a snow plume forecast, so accumulation over time for Jackson Hole. There seems to be a lot of agreement that we're going to see at least 2 feet of snow in the Tetons, Grand Targhee, Jackson Hole, and you can see it, the accumulation over time. And even by the time we get to 12.8, 12.9, there's another bump of 4 to 6 inches of snow on top of that. So that's the snow plume. All right, we've got one more stop. I'll take you even further down the road, 12.5 to 12.8. You can see the next storm system sliding into the Pacific Northwest BC and then moving down through the Intermountain West. And the final accumulation map, this is for the Northeast, 11:30 through 12:05. Not as big as I was thinking a couple days ago, but still it looks like 2 different chances of snow will accumulate snow: Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. Neither of the lows looks terribly impressive or closes off as a pure, true nor'easter, but just enough to give us some snow there through Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. All right, guys, that's going to do it. A lot of great places on the map with big snow ahead in this On the Snow Before You Go forecast. Take care, and thanks for tuning in.